Well, today we have with us our special guest, Pastor Steve Bullois. He lives in Nairobi,
Mm.
Kenya, and he lives in some of the worst parts of that city. The Lord saved him as a teenager, and he was involved in things that we don't want to talk about, but they weren't very good. And now he's there in that slum with his wife and children and their other leaders, planting churches and rescuing people from the kind of trouble that you find in a poor neighborhood. And Pastor Steve has got it on his heart to feed the poor. Pastor Steve, tell us how you started to feed the poor in that neighborhood.
Yes, I started to feed the poor. First of all, my name is Pastor Steve, as you have said, and I'm saved and I love Jesus.
Amen.
I started to feed the poor who are in my neighborhood because of the needy that it is there, because I'm in slums. I'm in a place where people, they have a lot of need. And I used to see how the children, they are suffering to get something to eat. Even they used to go to the upside. Some of them is like they are raising themselves going to try to get something to eat. So God gave me a burden. And also me, I was raised in a poor family, and I raised myself in a dark side. And I was going there because I was looking something to eat. So when God called me and gave me this ministry to feed these children, I felt that I will never allow another children to pass where I was passed because of the food.
Pastor Steve, when before this current coronavirus pandemic started, you were feeding about 400 children twice a week. Is that right?
Yes, I was feeding 400, but when the government announced about lockdown, there was a lot of need because people lost their jobs. So they didn't have somewhere to add money to feed their children. So they started sending their children to our center, and our number continued increase until we reached 1,000 children. But many of these children, they came because their parent lost the job, and now they could not afford to give them food. So they used to send them, and they used to send them to our center so that they can get food there. And that is where we started to feed them. And that's why the number came 1,000
So it's
when the
1,000,
coronavirus came.
but now you're serving them every day, not just twice a week. Is that right?
Yes, now we are not feeding them twice per week. I felt I will take the step of faith because I felt the need. I looked the face of these children and I could see some of them, they are living with that one meal that we are giving that day. So I said, let us take the step of faith. And I took the step of faith so that when they get, even if it's that one meal for that feeding program, they can come tomorrow and get another one meal. And now we are feeding them every day. And the burden is great, the need is great. And that's why we need more support of food so that we can continue to feed these children. As I'm telling you, there are some children who are living with that one meal. Because before, we used to feed the children who have many cases. Some of them, their parents, they are bedridden. Some of them, they are orphan. Some of them, they are sick. There are some children who are sick. So they need this food.
Pastor Stephen, I understand that it costs you about $250 a day to feed 1,000 people. Is that right?
Yes, 250 to feed every day.
Well, I just want to assure you that here in the United States, we are going to continue to pray for you. And right
Thank you.
now, I just want to ask everybody who's watching this show if they would prayerfully consider what God would have them do to help Pastor Stephen there in the slums of Nairobi, Kenya. He's feeding 1,000 children a day on only $250. We've already sent them some resources to help them for a week, but we're asking you to prayerfully consider helping our brother with his church and continuing with this work. Pastor Stephen, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the show today. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Pastor. And I feel so honored, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. God bless you so much.
Well, God bless you, and we look forward to getting a report later about how things are going. But now, viewers, we are going to go to the next part of our show.